Welcome to Soul Talks. Bevan Bird here, and I'm happy to introduce you to Danielle Pomerleau. She is, her genius is being able to hold space and intuitively guide her clients while allowing them to wade in the murky swamps of their soul, helping them find their gifts in the darkness and emerge from the depths more empowered, happy individuals. That's what inspiration is made of, isn't it?
Without a doubt.
Mhm.
Without a doubt, when people feel they are at their deepest, darkest, there's no light at the end of the tunnel, and to be able to just sit there in that mire and let it unfold for them so they can find their gifts, not me showing them to them, it's a lot more empowering for them. And then they realize that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and the light is actually much bigger than they thought it was.
So it's an honor to be doing this talk with you, and also to co-author Goodness Abounds, and that's why we're together here now. Is that we
Yeah.
that book and it's launching today. That's awesome. So why did you choose to be a part of that book?
Interestingly enough, it's really simple. It scared the tar out of me to do something such as putting myself on paper. So because it was so scary, I decided that that's something I had to do.
Mhm.
It's really what it boils down to. And on top of the fact that my friend Rhonda, who's in Life Shifts, and knowing what those books were about in the 365 series, and knowing what this book was going to be about, it was a no-brainer for me, because who doesn't want to be a part of something that can help warm people's hearts and give a little inspiration in daily doses?
Mhm. Absolutely, it's a great vision. I just talked with Dan Tech and got his why on creating the book too. Yeah, that's what it's all
Awesome.
about.
Can't wait to see that interview.
All right. So, and then also, why did you write your story, the particular story you wrote? And please tell us the title and what it's about.
Okay. I actually wrote two stories in the book. The first one is The Simple Gift of a Flower. And I had been going through an incredibly dark time in my life where I didn't see the light, and I really didn't think I'd make it through. And it really was a small gesture of a little girl giving me a flower that made me realize that I wasn't suffering alone. That even though I didn't know this little girl and she was only 4, she was able to see my suffering, really see me without me crying or, showing any outward expression, and innocently giving me this flower, which it just touched me really deeply.
She just wanted you to be happy, and that's
She did.
that's what love is. It's caring about other people and how they feel.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. And the other story is not something that actually happened to me. It happened to one of my really good friends. She probably in a darker period of time than what I was going through. And she happened to be out in the public, and in her mess, made a mess in the supermarket. And it was the kindness of a stranger that came to her and knelt down with her to help her pick up her mess and really show empathy and really show compassion to her and listen to her, really listen to her, and met her where she was at. And to this day, she has forged a really strong connection with that person from that interaction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that one is called Angel Dave.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me of the story that I put into Good to Bounce, which was about an experience my dad had. There was this lady was going down a river in a kayak in a rapid upside down, right? Because you can easily tip over, and you have to roll yourself up, or you got to pull the skirt if you don't know how to roll, or you can't, right? And he flipped her over, like he got close and like rolled her boat up, which saves a whole bunch of time. Otherwise, you get wet and you have to you go to the side and tip the water of the boat. It's a big waste of time. So anyway, that kindness to a stranger, right, was how they met and became friends. And later they helped each other. And the story is about that. It's about what happens later. Yeah, it's a great way
I
to start
cannot
friendship.
relate. the book in my hands to start reading all the stories. I cannot wait, because we've gotten glimpses of everybody's, with the writing program and helping each other out, and I just can't wait to see the full stories.
Me
and
too.
the ones I haven't heard about yet.
Yeah, me too. It's awesome. Oh, I did a co-authored book recently, and I get to hold it in my hands right here. This was a little while ago. This is the second co-authored book. This is the first inspirational co-authored book that I did. Your Shift Matters. So Goodness Abounds is the second one.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So then, did you say that this is the first time that you're becoming an author or a co-author?
Yes, right. This is the very first time. Yeah, so right. Really exciting and scary all at once.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It helps you get your thoughts very clear, doesn't it?
It helps you get to know who you really are without, I didn't think that I was a writer. And once it came down to it, and seeing what I wrote, I thought, wow, I do have it in me to put out something beautiful and, well composed.
Absolutely. I look forward to reading your story. Usually I would read them before the interview, but didn't have time this time. So what else about this? What is your story? Just choose one of them, and what does it mean to you?
Both of them have the same meaning, really, that we're here as humans together to uplift and help each other on the journey, no matter where we're at. And it doesn't matter whether we know each other or not, we can still have compassion. And we can show it in the smallest ways, because we really don't know how small of a gesture can really impact somebody's life. One sentence could be the difference between somebody ending their life and deciding to live. So if
you might not even know if a person is depressed or suicidal, you might not even know from the outer signs.
Exactly. So just, to always do something kind. You never know where people are coming from. And, Angel Dave's story is one of those stories.
Oh yeah, that's great. And what I've been thinking about just recently is oneness, right? Like, because I noticed how when I said other, then it's not really true, but I was saying like, helping the other people, because that's partly why we have such big problems in the world, is we see ourselves as separate, that we see ourselves as separate from the world.
We're not, we're all
one. And then you realize like other people's pain, it's all part of the same thing. We want to help.
I agree. Totally.
It's great. Thanks for helping us see that with your stories.
It's my pleasure. I'm really honored to actually be a part of it, in this book specifically.
Can you give us more insight into one of these stories, like going more deeply into it?
Well, I mean, what aspect would you like?
Okay. Well, I mean, you really got my attention with like, getting out of a 17-year unhealthy relationship. That's a really good positive stuff, right?
It was a very, I didn't realize it at the time, but it was abusive. And it wasn't until I started having my awakening when I started to realize, I knew things weren't right, but it just, great person, wonderful, everybody loved him, always doing wonderful, kind things for people. But it, our relationship, something just wasn't right. And I would constantly have to be fighting against stuff. Conversations were always hard. I was being belittled and demeaned and essentially kind of kept under a thumb. And when I started questioning that and going, no, this is not it, things got really bad, really, really, really bad. And, that's when I decided that I needed to do this for myself and for my son and, make the break. And it was a torturous 3 years, because when you are in an emotional and abusive relationship, you don't realize you become like this mingled person. and you don't see yourself as a self. So trying to rip yourself away from that person was like ripping half of me, because I didn't know where the other half of me was, and I didn't even really know what this half of me was. And so there was a lot of stumbling, a lot of falling. I mean, it was, it was pretty bad, kicking and screaming on the floor kind of stuff, not wanting to go on. Looking back, some of it seems just pretty outrageous and silly, but at the time, I literally thought I was dying because I was tearing myself away from this relationship. But thankfully, I'm in the light now, and my light is much brighter. And I can give gratitude for that very long learning experience and the deep, murky swamps that I had to go through for those 3 years. I mean, obviously, longer than that, which, was the culmination of those 3 years. But, if I had not gone through the depth of the pain and the struggle that I went in those 3 years, I wouldn't be able to help people to the degree that I can now, helping them wade through those murky swamps and finding their gift and just holding that space there and telling them it's okay to be here. It's okay to sit in this and wallow in this, because you're going to be able to see what this is for and how this is going to benefit you.
Mm-hmm. What would you tell someone if they're not sure if they're in the right relationship?
If you have any questions about whether you're in the right relationship or not, it's probably a good key indicator that you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was kind of thinking that too. And then, well, how to end a relationship?
Oh goodness, I don't think there's any real good solid way to do that. Having a good support system, friends to help you, and not friends that are telling you need to be away from him or whatever, but just meeting you where you're at and saying, I know it's hard and I know you want to go back. And even though, I believe that this is a bad relationship for you, I'm still here for you if you go back. And then if you decide to get out of it again, I'm still going to be here for you. That non-judgmental support system, where they know you're going to take the dance, the 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, the relationship cha-cha.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then now, I guess for something different or fun, like what do you love to do for fun?
I love dancing. I have a really special troupe of girls. We are a tribal sisterhood belly dance group, and I love getting together with them and dancing because we are able to dance together without communicating. We have a series of moves that are not choreographed, so we're communicating through our body and through our gesture to know how to dance together, and it's so much fun. I absolutely adore it. It lights me up and brings me so much joy when we can get together and dance.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody video them? Do they go on YouTube or anything like that? Or just
we don't have any on YouTube or video. Interestingly enough, any of our performances, something has always gone glitchy. We've got a couple dances that we have videoed, but nothing is been posted online or public.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've heard that recently. I did this purpose and gifts call to help people align to their purpose and expand their gifts. And a few people mentioned that, like maybe they're vibrating too high, like, electronic, maybe empaths or something, or sensitive people. So these electronics things glitched out or whatever.
Story of my life. You can ask my friend. She's like, girl, everybody that knows me, if it comes to electronics, there's gonna be issues. But yeah,
this is working. So the last interview I just did before this, my internet connection went unstable, but we still got a recording, which is good. And this one's working well.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
And also, what are you excited for next?
That's a great question. I guess I haven't even thought that far because I was thinking all the way up to this day. It was like, yay, this day is here. fast forward.
Oh yeah. Well,
Excited.
okay. Well, what does it
Go
mean
ahead.
to you this day? What is this the book launch and being an author? What does this mean to you?
It means that it's a symbol for me to prove to myself that no matter what anybody says about me, the naysayers, that I have it in me to do what it is that I want to do. And I have a physical copy that says I said I was going to do this and I did it.
Oh yeah.
But not only that, that my story or my stories can make a difference in at least one person's life. And if if it's at least one person, I've done my job.
Great.
But I know it's going to be way more. My story, your story, everybody's story, it's going to touch so many people. And I definitely feel like it is going to be, I'll even venture to say life-changing for people.
Oh, I think so. I mean, from these couple of interviews that I've done so far, it's like the heart of people that are collaborating this book is just amazing. So it's heartwarming, and it's like, look at the world differently. That's what Dan wanted to share as a message, right? Look for the goodness that people are doing, right? For you
Yeah.
or for anyone, instead of looking for what we used to look for, and we're conditioned to expect. Look for the goodness that people are doing, and if more and more people do this, because that's what you get. If you look for it, it expands.
Yeah, and looking for the goodness outside of yourself, because sometimes we're just so intrinsically geared to look around like us and what's happening to us, and self-centered focused. So to be able to place that outside of ourselves, I think is pretty important.
Yeah, that is important too. Yeah, definitely. Because I'm very like focused on myself, because a lot of the world, like, it's hard to find like-minded people, and then projects like this bring us together, right? But in the general public, often we're different, and so and especially when you go somewhere like I have, there's only 300 people here, right? In this town.
Oh, you're the same thing as me. There's only like 528 people where I live.
All right. Yeah, so we work through the internet, I guess. Well, I do, and so it doesn't matter, right? And we connect with people anywhere that are like-minded. But and that means in my real life, I'm pretty much focused on me, right? And my vibration. And but yes, there's a sense of community here, and if you look around, you can see people doing good things, and then like the more you open up, the more the world will open up.
Right. And also too, this book, even though you said, the like-mindedness, this is going to get into hands of people who aren't like-minded, and people that don't share the same belief systems or religious or political systems. It's going to reach everybody, because that's what its purpose was.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's great. That's very exciting. Well, thanks for helping me get more excited about the book launch, because that's what you did.
Thank you. Well, I did my job then. Bringing joy into everybody's life.
Any last words or anything? Something that you would want to share with people? Like if you had a message to share with the world, then what would you say?
Ooh, that's a big one. Ooh, the pressure's on now.
Well, you see, that's while you're thinking about it, or we can, buy some time for your subconscious to figure it out. But that's the thing that we have. We have this opportunity to talk to the whole world. Like I just watched this video today. Do you know Sadhguru? He's actually a happiness guru. They just call it that in a different language. Okay. Well, one of his videos was like a recent talk, and it was like, why is pornography the biggest thing on the internet? It might be 70% or something. Maybe it depends how you measure. I don't know. But the point is, he says in this video, like the biggest industries are weapons and drugs and alcohol combined, and pharmaceuticals. And if we're using the internet for pornography primarily, then what does that say about humanity right now, right? So it's like we have this opportunity at this time, like we're able to put out a message and send it out to the whole world potentially, right? If it matters enough, it can go out to everyone, billions of people. So then, and look at what we're wasting it on. So we have this opportunity. So what should we, what kind of positive messages should we actually put out there, right? So goodness abounds is an example of that.
It's a perfect example. I know that a lot of people get turned off by the whole love and light, or all we need is love. But essentially, that is what it boils down to. And it's not that hippity-dippity, all we need is love. It is the love in the sense of goodness abounds. You know, giving somebody a flower is an act of love. Bending down to help somebody clean up their mess that they've made is an act of love. Those small acts of love. Just and trying not to get caught up in all of the negativity in the world, because like you said, what we're looking for expands. So whatever it is you're looking for, you're going to find more of it. So hopefully what people leave with this is the whole concept of the book, to look for the goodness that is abounding. You know, the book was written so it's like bite-sized nuggets every day. So there's 365 stories, one each day, that can remind us, oh yeah, I should be looking for something good today. Today I'm going to look for one good thing. And tomorrow, you know, once I get like in the habit of looking for one good thing, tomorrow I'm going to, you know, 2 good things. And once I get in the habit of looking for 2 good things, I'm going to look for 3 good things a day, and then 4 good things a day, until, you know, it becomes a habit where all you're seeing is great things. Because once you shift your mind, it shifts your life. And
absolutely. And we'll shift the collective consciousness by doing this.
Yes, without a doubt, without a doubt. So, you know, and have faith in humanity. I know it does not look good now, and I know things are not good, but to continue to hold faith in humanity, because I believe that, you know, underneath it all, even though it looks like, you know, we're going to hell in a handbasket, if we keep the faith and we keep looking for the goodness and we keep acting in goodness and in love, we'll prevail. The love
oh yeah, prevail. I agree. Oh, I feel like I should say something. One of the earlier Soul to Soul talks with, yeah, it was Mia Sains. She said that there was a shooting in Las Vegas, I think. 59 people were killed, but even more were injured, right? And then she talked with the soul of the guy that killed them, and like, because he died, maybe he shot himself, I don't know. From the news, right? So so she asked, why did he do it? And he said it was to wake people up. So it's to wake, it's a pattern interrupt to wake people out of their stupor. So so you can see like a lot of, so maybe what's happening isn't really like bad, right? It just depends how we look at it. And like those things happen to wake people up. So then we got to do something with it. We got to do the right thing.
Right. It's kind of like when we go through our own divine shitstorms, like I went through for those 3 years. Like that was me waking up. You know, our waking up doesn't always look great. It does not always look happy and rainbows and butterflies. I mean, usually when we're having it, you know, our awakening, or we're, you know, collectively being smacked, it is because of the negativity, because that's what gets people's attention, because our brains are geared towards looking for the negative. So hopefully with people knowing that, they can go, okay, I see what's happening here. I see this, and this. What can I do to help elicit change? What small act every day can I do to help better this world? Because all it takes is one person, you know, each day, all of us doing one nice thing to keep, you know, to get the ball rolling, to make it into a big snowball.
Absolutely. All right. Okay, thank you very much. And thanks for sharing this moment here.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Well, I look forward to talking again and sharing this with everyone. And
Uh,
have fun with the book launch. And
all right,
I'll see you around. Look forward to keeping in touch.
definitely. All right, bye, Devin.
Bye.